Hello everyone, welcome back to Rift Rivals, and now on to the second game of the semifinals because, as I've said always, I am Vulcan and with me is Arctic. We will be the casters for the semifinals, King of the Hills. We saw in game 1 that Mineski got butchered. And when I say butcher, it's not a good kind of butchering. It's the butcher that's kind of illegal in the way that we saw how James was deprived of that Raptor camp. And because of this, level 2 spike on Natalia is more than enough to shape the phase of the laning because Oriana will not have enough range by then, and especially what happened in the top side. The dive that went horribly wrong in giving the double kill to Dokla on that Rumble was actually catastrophic, and in the end that just closed the deal for Mineski with Sun Gaming moving on to the second game, and this time facing against the second seed, Ascension Gaming.
Yeah, you know, aside from Mineski, Ascension Gaming as well, unfortunately, going for the 0-2 yesterday, so not really the best situation for them either. So, well, not yesterday actually, all their games were actually played during day 1. So again, this is actually another scenario where hopefully the squad from Thailand could redeem themselves from their own deficiencies during game 1 as well as we head into the pick and ban.
Let's get straight to it.
Yeah.
Ascension would be on the blue side, whereas Sin Gaming will be on the red side. Already off the bat, Ascension Gaming banning out that Talia. For Sin Gaming, Lloyd's Callista will be removed. Understandable bans coming in from both teams. Let's hope to see Ascension's gaming plan to at least overthrow Sin Gaming.
I really like the Talia ban here, finally. Because if anything, learning from what happened during day 1 and day 2, Talia is probably the best champion that you can run in the Rift Rivals right now. Depending on who handles it, when played so efficiently, she just snowballs so hard and really makes or breaks the team. So I love the fact that Ascension Gaming really taking the proactive step to actually ban her out as opposed to risking Ryoma taking it and potentially leading Sin Gaming to yet another victory. A lesson learned definitely here for Ascension Gaming. But of course, as you mentioned, looks like the Zac as well going to be banned out in the Rek'Sai. So this is probably either going to be an auto ban on the Galio as the last ban for Sin Gaming.
We'll see though. This is going to be their last ban for Sin Gaming. They will be giving away maybe more opportunities for Ascension Gaming, but as Arctic said, that would be the Galio ban for Sin Gaming.
This is the tricky part when you're on the red side. You know, with Zac, with how prominent both the Zac and the Galio are, it's almost virtually red side. You're almost obligated to ban these two champions if ever the blue side doesn't. Because if blue side doesn't, then it's almost an auto take. But looks like the Elise actually going to be locked in as the go-to jungle pick for Nuni on Ascension Gaming.
So let's see for Sin Gaming, they are hovering a lot of champions for Ascension Gaming. Picking up that Elise at the first pick phase is very good in a way that you are set for the jungle. But again, see, this is what I was talking about. Someone's gonna ban FBI's gear because every time I see a Caitlyn picked up by Sin Gaming, I get scared. I just want my fortification buff on my turrets to be extended. 5 minutes is not enough against FBI. Make it 10 minutes in a way that I swear, man, he's gonna be getting the first turret of this game.
That's okay. A very bold prediction from
I
Vulcan
swear,
right
he
there.
will be taking it away. If he takes it away, then just goes to show, ban that Caitlyn.
I actually agree with you because if anything, if we're gonna check out what happened here during the first game against Mineski, aside from the fact that both FBI and Rogue were actually performing pretty well, plus the emphasis for Juice right there, really prioritizing to bot gank in order to avoid Zensho and Tianchu from making a huge impact during the game earlier. Maybe this will be the same trend that Sin Gaming will be following. Looks like the Thresh will be actually locked in. So it's interesting because with this Thresh, this actually allows them a lot more flexibility to make plays in that bot lane right there. Of course, it all comes down to Rogue really performing, getting those hooks up to par and on point.
And now on to the second banning phase for today's second game. Tomcat and Karma will be removed for both supports and a Braum ban. Ooh, a Braum ban onto Warlock will be will hurt a lot because in a way that Lloyd, he does have a lot of ADCs on his hand, but it's the fact that Sin Gaming is banning out the Tomcat and Braum means a lot.
Yeah, I like the Karma ban coming in here from Ascension Gaming because if this Karma did go to Ryoma, it only amplifies the overall threat of FBI on this Caitlyn right here because of the protection that both the Karma and the Thresh can bestow onto that one champion. But instead, it looks like, ooh, okay, so we're not quite sure yet. That was an initial hover under Aurelia, but not sure. Switching between the Olaf, not quite decided just yet.
Because if Ascension Gaming, they can pick up the Olaf in the jungle. Olaf is the only way for them to counter that Caitlyn siege. So, understandable hover, but right now, Sin Gaming will be going for the Fiora top against a Renekton. A really slight counter pick in a way that it's still like skill matchup. But I love how Ascension Gaming, they removed Dokla's Rumble. They do not want to face with this Rumble when it snowballs.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, Fiora pick though, again, we have seen how prominent a top laner Dokla is.
Interesting. A severe pickup to actually negate the push coming from that Caitlyn. Let's see how that turns out, but it's really Ascension Gaming. They know, at least this time, they know the threat.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in seeing how Lloyd will be performing on this Caitlyn. Not Caitlyn, but the Sivir rather. Because, you know, we haven't really seen as much Sivir these days, but still, I'd say she's a pretty optimal pick depending on what composition you go for. But if this All-Star is locked in, I'd actually like it. But yeah, indeed, it's going to be the All-Star for Warlock.
Warlock removing the Alistar from Rogue. Interesting. Ascension Gaming right now seems to me like they have more than 5 bans. They really picked up some champions who really naturally counter Sin Gaming's pull, but let's see so far Fiora in the top side against Ren with the Renekton.
And of course, with overall the composition have been locked in. Syndra, I'm actually quite scared once again. Ryoma, again, one of the more consistent players that we've seen in Rift Rivals thus far, and even for the Oceanic League from what I hear. So it's quite interesting to see just how Ascension Gaming will work out making a comeback onto this game, because their defeat from last time, you know, wasn't the best way to go down. So hopefully we'll see a comeback, you know, signs of life coming in from the GPL squad right here, because again, they really, sure, we can definitely say that at least they have GAM as a salvation to them in a way by because they perform really consistently. But then again, you know, it would be a great feat if Ascension Gaming could really step it up and show signs that even they themselves can perform as a GPL squad.
Right now, we're seeing both teams locking in all their picks. We'll be loading up to the Rift pretty shortly. So this would be the second matchup between the GPL region and the OPL, where this time it would be Ascension Gaming, the second seed, facing off the third seed of OPL, which is Sin Gaming. Beautiful eyes.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, you could look in it's like those eyes.
Are those real? Like, is that his real color?
Yeah, I believe so. You know.
Wow.
That's a kind of wish. It makes you wish that you had those type of deep penetrating eyes that will see through your soul.
But I think those eyes will be penetrating the Rift with his macro play and the way he's positioning. But let's get straight to it, guys. This is going to be the second match, and let's hope that GPL's second seed Ascension Gaming will go on and face well against third seed Sin Gaming.
And this is quite tricky right here. Again, a lot is on the line for GPL right now. Now at a one team down deficiency. Again, this is King of the Hill, wherein you don't want to leave out on all your arsenal.
Beautiful eyes.
Beautiful eyes in this case. Yes. But yeah, I mean, going into this game here, Ascension...
But now let's get straight to the Rift. This is the second game. Ascension Gaming on the blue side against Sin Gaming on the red side. The second seed of GPL to try and fight back the third seed of Sin Gaming from GPL's first loss.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. It'll now come down to this. Will Ascension Gaming be able to halt the aggressive push, the aggression coming in from the OPL squad? Or will the OPL squad be only one win closer to going into the finals against the Japanese squad?
This is going to be really a clutch game for GPL. They did lose the first game, so right now the momentum is onto OPL's side. They have the confidence so far, but let's get straight to it. The matchup would be the bot side for me because they've picked up that Severe. Knowing how FBI plays in the bot lane, really aggressive in a way that he will be taking the first turret, so I think that the Severe is a nice pickup, a nice counter to the pushing power of the Caitlyn and the Thresh.
And, especially with the ultimate, really grants a lot more flexibility with the composition that Ascension Gaming has. Because if you're gonna look at it, as far as disengage, they don't really have as many tools. Probably the All-Star. So the Savior is a nice touch-up. Grants selection whether they do want to go for the offensive or the defensive. If ever things go a little bit sour against Sin Gaming, because like we did mention, Sin Gaming is definitely not a team that you want to underestimate. As seen earlier during Game 1, really taking no prisoners, taking down the 3rd seed of the GPL. So
without any mercy and remorse. The fact that FBI immediately going for the turrets is just a signal that Sin Gaming, they don't care about these flashy clashes. They just care about winning the game straight, period. They want those turrets, and after the turrets, they'll go for the Nexus. That's simple. Simple as that. Destroy turrets, destroy inhibitor, get Nexus, win.
there you go. So again, we'll just have to see if this is going to be yet another slaughter coming in from Sin Gaming right here. But looks like Ascension really taking the proactive steps. I really like that. This may be one of those scenarios wherein we'll be seeing another Calm of the Storm type of thing, wherein Ascension Gaming realizing that there's such a risk when you go all out aggressive during the earlier stages of the game, within the first few levels, pre-level 6. And, it's definitely a price that Mineski paid earlier, so going into this game for Ascension Gaming, they definitely want to play it a little bit more sound, because again, we've seen how Sin Gaming really capitalizes on the smallest mistakes, building up on these advantages, going full on snowball if you make those mistakes.
Especially the fact that whoever gets the first blood, that's going to be a done deal, because all of the champions of OPL are snowballing champions, whereas for GPL's composition, the Ascension Gaming, more of a steady scaling. So right now, GPL, they can't afford to give a first blood to any member of Sin Gaming, but right now, Nooney did get spotted by a ward, so Dokla is moving around slowly. So this would be Nooney spotted in the top side.
Yeah, there we go. And looks like Juves himself will be going for the
offensive.
offensive.
The steal of the Raptors.
Again, this is what I like about Sin Gaming. They're really proactive with going for offensive warding, just so that they can seek out moments of opportunity. And not just moments of opportunity to try to get pickoffs onto denying the enemy jungler, but at the same time. So here we go, actually.
Here we go straight to the Raptor camp. Nooney spots it, but Juves is already done with his cap, and Nooney just gets the consolation. 10 gold out of all that gold that Juves stole from him.
And Juves is on a roll though. Level up actually onto Nooney because of these aggressive takes. Not to mention 9 to 17 difference as far as CS right now, but still.
I love to pick up on the Severe, but Lloyd will be running out of mana soon. So it's a matter of delaying still FBI's potential to get the first third of the game, which is a huge deal for him, because every time we see FBI take the first turret, it means trouble for the enemy team. But right now, whoa, the damages come from Renrin's Renekton, really scaring away Dokla. Timing was a bit off. There is the parry. So it would be Renrin's having more sustained power in the lane compared to a Fiora.
Yeah, definitely. I really like this Renekton pickup. If anything, probably one of the more optimal top laners you could go with for Ascension Gaming. But yeah, I mean, I gotta hand it to Juves here. I just want to touch in on these junglers for a moment. It's somewhat the same feat that we've been seeing earlier. Juves really trying to choke out the jungler. And again, Ascension Game, I'm actually surprised that they didn't make the superbly proactive step to try to go for defensive warding to counter this. Because Sin Gaming in exchange, without the defensive warding coming in from Ascension, as we've seen, Juves actually went for that offensive ward towards the bottom side, and then transitioning that into a steal onto the creep. Just to look out for Nooney, but still, regardless, it just really gives a lot of information for Sin Gaming.
When it comes to information, Sin Gaming has everything in a way that GPL does not know. That's the scary part. So they think that they have the sneaky moves, but OPL is just playing it like they're just pretending that they don't know. But when they actually dive in, especially what happened in Game 1, we might receive a repeat of the double kill in top lane if the jungler, Nooney, does not really be careful, because if he does not scout out the area properly, this could be a bad move from Ascension.
Yeah, that being said, I think that the ideal
hook shot out to Lloyd. There's the knockup combo. FBI, the stun will be onto him. Lloyd's ignited. He flashed away. FBI with the heal in place, leaving Warlock behind. FBI comes up on top, but in the top side, Dokla is there, backing away with Nooney. Juice eats up the stun, but there will be no more follow-up.
This is what I like about this here from Ascension Gaming. I was actually about to bring up this point here wherein technically Ascension Gaming could afford the heavier dives in this game. It's just that you need to wait for Renekton to reach level 6 so that he has access to his Dominus. So, because that does grant him that extra health, that extra survivability when they go for these dives. So, again, Ascension Gaming definitely on point with realizing not only just the strength of their composition, but the limits as well. What spikes they need to wait for before trying to make these type of plays.
And it's the fact that the support of Sin Gaming picked up the Ignite, which really scared away Lloyd. He had his heal but did not go for it, but right now on the top side, a lot of focus onto Dokla to really deny that Fiora snowball.
Yeah.
But we did see that this time Renren will be a bit more successful with this Renekton. He already picked up the Tiamat to really push in Dokla in the top lane side, whereas G4 will be seeing off Rogue. And a bit of a roam coming from the bot lane of Sin Gaming. They have the freedom because they've won that trade on what happened with Lloyd.
I love the pressure that Renren is putting on Dokla right now. It's definitely manifesting and showing as far as the CS difference, 66 to 44. Not to mention Tiamat pick off for Renren. So this definitely grants him a little bit more pushing power and control while transitioning into potential responses if ever things do kind of turn out for both junglers towards the top side. But regardless, you know, still everything very much equal for both teams.
We see that Warlock putting up some vision, really good positioning for that. So when it comes to teams responding, what can you say about Sin Gaming's potential to really snowball this game? Because Lloyd picked up the Severe in a way to control the pushing power of FBI, but Lloyd was on a ticking time because as soon as his mana runs out, FBI will be just free to push. And it's the fact that Lloyd picked up the Severe, so FBI can't put down those cupcakes because that for Lloyd is a free mana potion.
Yeah, definitely, you know, and the way FBI is managing his abilities, you know, I really like it because, you know, it makes Lloyd think twice as to exerting all his resources as far as, like you mentioned, mana. And when you think of the mana costs for severe skills, they're actually quite hefty and you really need to manage them properly. So the fact that not only is FBI holding out on the traps, but also the Piltover Peacemakers.
And the Ace in the Hole is such a spell to be blocked by the Severe, so it's actually a hard counter. But right now, Ascension will be going for the Mountain Drake. A very high priority target. 3 members colliding in. Warlock dodges that hook. The Mountain Drake is very low. It will be Nooney securing it with the Smite. Ascension now house the Mountain Drake, really denying the pushing power from Sin Gaming.
Yeah, there we go. The Drake being taken. A good small victory.
Hook shot onto Lloyd. Ooh, that is an ugly first blood. Very easily obtained by FBI. He gets stunned by the Cocoon. Warlock pops his Unbreakable Will. Tanky enough. Let's see. Rogue is still chasing onto it. Oh! The predictions coming from Rogue. Juves picks it up with FBI getting a good assist.
Man, you take the Drake, we'll take your lives. That is going to be 2 kills going straight to Sin Gaming's pocket. And if you're going to look at it, as far as the gold gained from all of that, with all said and done, with the dust settling, Sin Gaming definitely getting the better benefit here. And this is what we've been talking about. FBI is going to be forced to be reckoned with once you get that Caitlyn. Like you mentioned, sure, Severe is a pretty interesting counter in the sense that
you need mana to counter a Caitlyn. Once you're out of mana, you're just a sitting target. And it's sad that the first blood, despite the efforts of Ascension, but let's see what happens. See, Lloyd popping the spell shield.
Yeah, really bad. Really caught out. He was actually trying to run for Warlock, but I think that made things even worse because Juice as well was within the vicinity. If anything, it only made things much more complicated. You know, had he run to Nooney instead, I felt like maybe he'd have a better surviving chance. Yeah, really great prediction here coming from Rogue here, spelling death for Warlock as well. And at the end of the day, again, this is a champion you don't want to skyrocket here. Sure, Severe can counter some of the skills coming from Caitlyn, but if FBI gets really ahead, I mean, you wouldn't even have to worry about abilities. Just the bulk of attack damage, basic attacks coming in from Caitlyn that overwhelm you is something that Lloyd has to worry about as well.
A very interesting pickup from the Caitlyn, FBI, from the bot side, from that first blood. Instead of going for the pick as we saw in game 1, going for the dagger. Dokla is in danger. Nooney's there for the double CC lockdown. Very low. It will be Nooney picking up the kill with Juves. in a very awkward position.
Man, oh man. Again, still a good small victory for
At least
the
this
GPL.
time, Ascension Gaming is having a more successful top lane. Warlock.
But then again, the power of FBI though is something that we know. Oh no, Warlock.
More of a cow trap on a rope. So, Warlock, I don't know why he's moving in a way that he wants to hook me, hook me, hook me. It's a free delivery for Warlock. So, as soon as Rogue hooks Warlock, he's like, well, there you have it. He does not want to go in because that is an Alistar. So, it's the fact that when Warlock goes in onto FBI, Lloyd is all alone. He does not have
Exactly.
any more CC or protection.
You know, it's almost like a rodeo that's happening here in the bot lane between these two supports. But regardless, oh, Juice though. Okay.
Spots on Nooney.
That is gonna be
Nooney though had a good run in the top side, really securing a kill for himself and an assist to Renren. He does have an advantage this time. A TMN and a Phage is a very successful pickup for Renekton.
This is going to be interesting though, because with Nooney actually being revealed towards the top side, this will only grant FBI and Rogue all the more confidence to actually just continue to mill down both Lloyd and Warlock here in this lane. And slowly, the CS difference is building up. And we're not just talking about the kills here, but the CS as well. The advantage is really going to the bot lane of Sin Gaming.
Oh, despite the pickup of the Severe, look at that turret. Half health down. And I bet that Sen Gaming's bot lane turret is pretty much healthy. So right now, Juve spot in the red side. Ascension Gaming will try and respawn like what they did at top side. Very beautiful clash coming in from Nooney and Renren. So let's hope that this will happen in the bot side.
Yeah, definitely. But still, I gotta hand it to Ascension Gaming. Even with all the proactivity, with all said and done, the CS difference actually back to even length here. So I'm actually interested in seeing. I think I gotta hand it. Probably one of the reasons is we've actually been giving a lot of focus towards bot. But, ooh, too slow.
Spotted in the bot side. They are going for the first turret. Oh man, my greatest fears have been realized. FBI chipping down the health. Oh, he lets the hook on to Nooney. FBI picks up the very easy kill. That would be a collapse maybe on the bot side, but they are still focusing onto the turret. The first turret goes to Sin Gaming.
That was a very careless move. If anything, I'm actually surprised that Ascension Gaming, Nooney particularly, allowed himself to get hooked because, especially with 3 members converging on you towards a tower that's almost down, that's almost like asking for death right there.
Clean escape from Jubes. Leap to the blast cone. Poop. Flies again. So that would be 1 ultimate down for Lloyd. The On the Hunt is a really good tool if other members can utilize it, but all I can see for synergy, but hold that thought. G4 going on to Ryoma, gets taken down. Juves is there, but he does not have mana. G4 does have more mana, but the execution will not be enough. Ooh, a reckless move by Juves gives a double kill to G4.
Beautiful move there by G4, and overall, this definitely contributes to Ascension Gaming really going up to par. Sure, Lloyd and Warlock might have had their own struggle in the bot lane against FBI and Rogue, but across the map for the rest of Ascension, well, particularly for G4 and Renren, definitely having a great time. Hopefully this will transition into Ascension Gaming being able to go up to par with Sin Gaming, because at least from what we're seeing thus far, this is definitely gonna seem like a close fight going into the mid and late game. But of course, it'll definitely depend on how these champions scale, and we don't really want to see as many mistakes being committed by both sides here, because again, it's like the calm before the storm, wherein that one big clash will really start setting the pace of this game.
Here is the short replay on what happened.
Yeah, here we go. So special delivery by G4 right there. Look at the damage though coming on onto Ryoma. Ryoma not really able to land the full onslaught of skills. And what I really like about this fight particularly, Juve trying to go for the assassination attempt onto G4, but because of the threat of Warlock being there, actually forces
Forces him to back away. So it was really reckless for Juves to go in without any mana. This gives Ascension the Mountain Drake free to grab, and I think someone in the side of Sin Gaming is pretty much sad. It would be FBI. He does love pushing those turrets, but this time Ascension, they have 2 Mountain Drakes. Let's see if they will use it. Right now they have 0 turrets, whereas OPL, they're close to getting their 2nd turret.
Yeah, and speaking of dragons right there, what's really interesting about this is that if you're going to look at the composition that Ascension Gaming has, they heavily benefit from the siege potential that this brings as far as taking out objectives way, way faster. So, again, as far as in comparison to, well, actually, it's Ascension Gaming getting both tricks of this game. So, again, Drake control is definitely great for them thus far, but still that doesn't discount the fact that Sin Gaming still up in gold, even though by a fraction of 1,000.
It's the fact that the gold, majority of the gold went to FBI on that Caitlyn because when he got that first blood, he immediately went for the Infinity Edge. That really skyrocketed the potential for FBI to push the mid lane. So we can see that the members of Sin Gamer are actually trying to siege down the top lane. We do see Juves, but Renren is having a really successful run with that Renekton, but let's hope it keeps that way because when it comes to the 25-minute mark, I'm gonna bet it on that Dokla is gonna be getting up better than Renren, and it's the fact that that's a Renekton.
Yeah, definitely. And with all said and done, though, the
Oh.
hope and the prayer.
Ryoma stacking up his balls, going on for G4 because
Man.
those orbs will really stack for the unleashed power, but I think he feels a bit scared, and seeing how G4 is backing away, that's a very smart move, especially Ryoma. He knows how to capitalize that Syndra because when you unlock that level 6, you're free to really just sit in the brush and wait for a free kill.
Yeah, and the respect is definitely there, especially since I'm highly assuming that Ryoma has the Q maxed out in order to grant him that further amplified bonus on the damage. So, wow, I mean, again, I really like this respect and restraint coming in here from G4 as avoiding a full commit to not suffer and become a casualty himself to Ryoma. But then again, regardless, I gotta hand it. Like I've been saying, Renren and G4 really pulling the weight thus far for the rest of the Ascension squad here. CS is really, really good for both these two, and I like the fact that Dokla thus far hasn't really been granted the opportunity to just farm and get back.
Well, when Dokla is behind, especially on that Fiora, we can expect that Renren will always bully Dokla in a way that will prevent him from growing even more because when he allows Dokla to free farm, that's actually Renren asking to lose and they don't want that. Seeing how they lane swap with a Corki instead of with the Renekton is really understandable. But for Dokla, he will not give up his first turret in his top lane.
Yeah, but regardless, you know, because of the fact that he's restrained to this lane, and then adding to that, you know, G4 himself exerting the pressure, this is actually technically a scenario where you'd be thinking that, you know, with Renekton out of lane, this will be the opportunity for Dokla to farm. But no, Ascension Gaming really keeping Dokla on his toes here, not really granting him that opportunity just yet. And still, the difference in CS is manifesting between these two top laners.
Oh, Ascension going for the Rift Herald. We did see that Juves was walking between and failed to see that, missed it. So the Rift Herald will be going to Ascension Gaming.
Yeah, I really like that play by Ascension Gaming there. You might be thinking that, hey, Juice was already in the vicinity. Why didn't he go check Rift Herald? But looking at the timer, you'd actually be assuming that, you know, maybe there won't be any attempts anymore because we're already leaning towards the Baron spawn. So really great logic there coming in from Ascension Game. I like the sneak there on the Rift Herald. You know, just when you think that they wouldn't be able to get that take, but man, oh man, boy was Sin Gaming wrong.
They have the Mountain Drake, but here comes a clash in the red side of Sin Gaming. Juves gets caught off. The Rift Herald will spawn in the mid side. Oh, Lloyd barely dodging that hook, but he does have the spell shield. Here comes the Rift Herald's classic headbutt, and now with two Mountain Drakes in the hand of Ascension, this will be going down rather quickly. G4 is very low. The box is in place. Warlock is trapped inside the House of Rogue. The Rift Herald will be continuing pushing in, but FBI with the clear and power. But on the top side, Dokla does take the advantage from that chaos in the mid lane, securing the top lane outer turret.
Yeah, that was an interesting sacrifice that Ascension Gaming. I'm actually interested in seeing how that'll eventually manifest, because this is what I'm talking about here. The fact that they were doing a great job at making sure that Dokla wasn't granted free opportunity to farm, but because of, you know, acquiring Rift Herald, transitioning into mid lane for a take, this actually granted a window of opportunity for Dokla to farm himself. Whether or not it set him back up to par with Renren in form of CS, not necessarily, but the fact that he got a turret is pretty substantial.
Oh, FBI is so sneaky, going a bit greedy, forced to flash away. The Lantern did expire. He gets a killing spree. Did you see the way FBI was playing that? He hit Lloyd once, went to the turret, hit him again, and ignored the Lantern because he wants to take him down. Lloyd's very low, and Warlock gets taken down. FBI again with that Caitlyn.
That was a good bait right there, man. And overall, man, I like how this is playing thus far. You know, really close. Both sides is kind of trading off each other. But I still gotta say, in terms of the objective game, Ascension Gaming really working to their favor in my opinion. But in terms of the overall macro, and as far as keeping up, still, if you're gonna notice, regardless, it may seem that Ascension Gaming has been getting a lot of takes of. They got Rift Herald, they got the 2 dragons, they got first turret of the game, but still, this goal difference still leans towards Sin Gaming at the end of the day, even though technically in terms of the numbers, as far as objectives taken, goes to Ascension, except for turrets.
And now the Infernal Drake is live. Ascension will be taking on this rather quickly. They do have 2 Mountain Drakes. It's the fact that OPL can't even contest Drakes because of their setback on the 2 mountains. So they do have 2 turrets, but Ascension has 3 Drakes with 1 turret. So in the long run, Ascension has a really good late game start for this. Transitioning to the late game, they will have a better start.
Yeah, I agree with you there, but Ryoma though...
Oh, Ryoma gets exhausted. He's very low. He does dodge away from the Warlock's attempted Pulverize, but G4 is blinking red.
And yeah, blinking red indeed. Good decision there by Ascension Gaming to show a little bit of restraint right there. But Renrin and Dokla themselves actually spotting out each other.
It's going to be the struggle with the pushing in the bot side. Oh, Renrin goes with the Dominus, but forcing on a flash onto Dokla for your Dominus, pretty much worth. That is worth.
Yeah, definitely. Man, oh man. This game, it's absolutely crazy. Even with 3 Drakes taken by the GPL squad, the gold, I can't help but keeping on looking at the gold because I'm still waiting for that opportunity where we'll actually see a definitive gold lead by Ascension Gaming here. But then it continues to lead towards the side of Ascension Gaming. I think it's ultimately manifesting in the fact that we have been seeing Ascension Gaming group up a lot more. And the fact that Sin Gaming not really following suit as much actually allows the individual members to continue to farm up, get as much gold as they can while the rest of Ascension continues to group up. And technically, still, sure, the grouping up has manifested into objectives for Ascension Gaming, but if you're going to look at everything else across the board, actually allows Sin Gaming on the micro scale to get back into this game.
They have they really do have a potential to get back into the game, but they have this small window of opportunity in a way that Sin Gaming is not giving, because Sin Gaming right now, they're not even going in for a 5v5 clash. If you notice from their games, they just go for objectives, turrets, and if Ascension makes a mistake, they will capitalize on that and make them squirm, because in a way that FBI, once he sees that members, let's say 2 members are down for Ascension, he's free to push the other lanes.
Ooh, there we go though. A little bit of control being started over this Baron. You know, again, this will probably be potentially the game changer. Whoever gets Baron first might actually start dictating the tempo of this game thus far.
And whoever gets FBI's head will be also winning the clash, because he has yet to die in this game. He does not want to lose to Ascension, wants to keep that perfect game. Love how he's moving. He already has the static shiv, the rapid fire cannon, so if you step on a trap of FBI, you were might as well dead from all those crits and procs.
I like how the fact that if we're going to look at it, Sin Gaming starting to make the proactive movement to linger towards the Baron side, because that's a huge threat coming in from Ascension Gaming right now. Sure, the goal difference is slightly tilted towards Sin Gaming, but double Mountain Drakes plus Infernal Drake, imagine just how fast a Baron take that will be by Ascension Gaming. That Sin Gaming, they don't even want to bat an eyelash and leave it to chance that Ascension Gaming might not get this Baron, because they have all the potential in the world to do so for that fast take.
And if they do get a fast take onto the Baron, that's going to be bad news for Sin Gaming. But hold that thought. Ooh, G4 wanted to take down Jubes to open up for the Baron. Gets denied with the Dark Passage. But right now we see members of Ascension grouping up. FBI does not see it. Oh, baits them in. Jubes is there for the flank. Ascension backs away.
Man, regardless, this is just very interesting. Again, we're still yet to see that huge hurricane of a clash that will dictate the flow of this game, but looks like Ascension Gaming...
Oh, G4. Really dangerous positioning right there. Oh, look at the damage going from FBI.
Yeah, this is the setback that Ascension has. Technically...
Fearless. Look at how he's moving. Fearless. He said, I'm the tank, I'm the front line, I'm everything that Ascension is afraid of.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, this is why Ascension Gaming, even though they have all the potential in the world to go for a Baron, they still respecting and realizing the threat that FBI brings, because he is in a monumental lead in comparison to Lloyd here. If I'm not mistaken, the last CS that I've seen of him is almost like 60 to 70 up in comparison to Lloyd. Not to mention the fact that the KD is almost impeccable for this AD carry. So, you know, this is why things are just so equal, and Ascension Gaming, as much as they have the advantage to put the gear into full throttle, they just can't just yet, because one slip up could really cost them, and FBI could cost them that.
And I think from the itemization path, both teams are looking up pretty good, except for the fact that, in a way, for the gold lead is really behind for the bot lane, especially Lloyd with 9,700 comparing to 12,000 onto FBI, seeing that he has 3 locked items compared to Lloyd, who only has 2 locked items. So right now we'll be seeing FBI might go for the Bloodthirster for more defensive and more sustained, and that's going to be bad news for Ascension.
There we go. So, man, this is just things so calm at this point. You know, both sides just kind of voting their time here, waiting for each other to just kind of get that slip up, as to then eventually transitioning that hopefully to something bigger for them.
Ooh, box in place. G4 gets caught by that Thresh, and here comes Lloyd doing his best with the on the hall, and his Jubes for the attempted kill did not succeed. G4 has this moments where, oh, he goes to the flash and pulverize combo, lockdown onto FBI. This is the moment for Ascension, shut down onto him. Here comes jumping for the in, he flashes away, he's ignited. Lloyd's very low. Oh, Lloyd takes him down, but it would be Jubes with the playmaking clashes, securing the kill for them. A double kill for Lloyd for Ascension's comeback.
Man, 1-3 in favor of Ascension Gaming. This is what I'm talking about. That one clash that could really start setting the tempo of this game here. It looks like Ascension Gaming made...
Oh, they're going straight for the Baron with only a Dokla and Juves alive. They can do so, but Dokla is very healthy. Warlock's very low. Dominance is off for Renren. And Juves is very far away, so I think this is the Baron going for Ascension. The moment that FBI got caught, this was Ascension's shining moment. They went all in, flash all summoners. We don't care how much summoners we use. As long as FBI is dead, I'm happy. That's what Ascension is thinking.
Exactly. Let's go ahead and check out what happened here again. A really great proactive play from Warlock. The flash on from Nooney transitioning into the cocoon. It was just a toppling onto FBI. That was the only threat that I feel Ascension Gaming needed to worry about, because sure, Ryoma could actually release a full onslaught of skills coming in, but regardless, him alone as a carry, Jules couldn't even really do that much, because he can't just go in and jump in on this Ascension squad here, and as a result, that one mistake that Sin Gaming feared to make manifested, and that was the check mark for Ascension Gaming to go for this Baron. Again, this is the double mountain infernal threat that Ascension Gaming has right now.
They have all the Drakes right now in this game. 4 Drakes and 1 Baron in the hands of Ascension. This is the comeback for them. Finally, the Baron is in the hand of Ascension. This is going to be tipping the balance we had right now. 52 gold lead. 2,000 gold lead for Ascension Gaming compared to Sin Gaming. But it's the fact that Lloyd has the Baron. He's free to push. More pushing power and gives FBI a harder time.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is going to be quite difficult for Sin Gaming at this point. I mean, FBI, really one of the supreme forces here for Sin Gaming, but with this Baron really changes the tempo, the pace of this game. So I'm not really sure. Sin Gaming definitely has a lot to deal with right now, but then again, this is a Baron buff. Once that does go down, that does give them a little bit more breathing room. So it's really up to Ascension Gaming to try to make something of this Baron to potentially set Sin Gaming much more apart from them in terms of the lead that they could potentially pull right now if played correctly with this Baron.
I don't think they can do the same playstyle as they did in the mid lane, because they used a lot of summoners. 2 flashes, an exhaust, but in the end it was pretty much worth it because they got the Baron, a shutdown on the FBI, and they got a very important objectives. But let's see if they'll use it effectively.
I'm not, as far as effectivity, I'm not really a fan of the configuration that Ascension Gaming has right now. Like I mentioned, the Baron is on their side, and if anything, they weren't even able to take down much of a significant turret. It was actually Sin Gaming that did so because of the split pushing Fiora. So again, Ascension Gaming actually forced to match the aggression coming in from this Dokla as far as sieging objectives. So again, this is a problem here that I'm having with Ascension Gaming. Sure, they got the Baron, but the problem is, will they be able to use it efficiently to actually siege and take down turrets? That's the huge question mark here, because so far, time is ticking. This Baron will be pretty much exhausting itself within the next few minutes. So, if nothing really happens of this Baron, then tricky, man. So, man, we'll just have to see, ladies and gents, because from what I'm seeing here, even with this Baron, nothing's happening for Ascension Gaming this far.
It's pretty disappointing to see that the Baron was going to be this objective, the objective for Ascension to come back into this game and to at least be on even floor with OPL's region Sin Gaming. But it's sad the fact that they can't commit because they're scared of Rogue's Thresh, they're scared of Juice going to the backline, and especially Dokla on that Fiora. So this is a Baron just for gold bounty, not really worth it. They should get more objectives, but Warlock really testing his boundaries there. The only two members in the blue side. We see how Sin Gaming, they're very patient. They're waiting for the Baron buff to expire. Once it does, pretty much even playing out again, because of a 2k gold lead is not monumental in a way that will set back everything Sin Gaming has done. So Ascension, they have 4 Drakes. That's really nice, but let's see them use it. Take down some turrets effectively. They can't siege. They have Lloyd and G4 on that Porky, but they can't go into straight to the turret because Rogue's there.
Man, it's such a shame from the GPL squad right here. They had that window of opportunity to make something of this Baron buff, but then again, I gotta hand it to Dokla. He really made it. It's kind of a make it or break it situation, and Dokla broke it for Ascension Gaming right there by going for that split towards the mid side that Ascension Gaming was just really forced to respond. And of course, with the disadvantage of losing out on Renrin, needing to recall back, that just really caused much more problems for them, as really losing out on the opportunity to make this. I'm absolutely baffled right now. It's just such a shame. So I don't know, man. This is really a scenario wherein Ascension Gaming losing out on a window that I'm actually worried, because this actually puts the ball back on equal playing field for Sin Gaming to actually get back onto Ascension Gaming despite that Baron take, because nothing happened out of it.
And it's also very problematic for Ascension because they can't even siege at all. So the Baron has been wasted so far. The next Baron will be live in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Let's hope that this is going to be a Baron which will be used effectively for the second time. So let's see who takes it away. The Elder will be live almost at the same time as the Baron. So more added pressure for both teams, especially Ascension. Let's see if they can make that play where FBI was at position, because once FBI was removed from the clash, see how it was so easy for Ascension to clean it up.
Yeah, definitely. But I gotta hand it. We've been championing how FBI, has really been pulling the weight for Sin Gaming, but still Lloyd actually on even playing field with him now in terms of KDA. But CS still quite the question mark there, because that's an 80 CS difference. So FBI is still quite the threat for Ascension Gaming to deal with. And thus far, I'm kind of worried, because if Sin Gaming gets that proactive opportunity to actually topple onto Ascension or maybe get a pick off, then with all the opportunities that technically the ball being on Ascension Gaming's court earlier just would pretty much go to move.
And it's also the fact that Ascension Gaming, they're not doing anything to at least be more aggressive. They're just waiting for the timers of the objectives, which is very smart. But FBI, he will be scaling up. He already has the Mercurial Scimitar, so that would be an instant cleanse away, and also denying more CC incoming. So this makes FBI a harder target to lock down.
Yeah, but regardless, I gotta hand it. G4 himself, actually, if you're gonna look at the gold difference between G4 and Ryoma earlier when the gold statistics were shown.
Oh boy, Elder Drake is very low. Who takes it away? Will change the fire. Jubes goes in for the attempted steal, but still, it would be Ascension taking away the Elder Drake, immediately burning Jubes to the ground for his confidence. But right now, here comes the clash, and Nooney picks up Ryoma with a cocoon stun. And now 2 members of OPL's region down for Sin Gaming. Now the Baron is live, but they might not wait. FBI is all alone, playing to be a bit more aggressive. So let's see how things turn out.
Man.
They have the Elder Drake. I hope things will up, but still Dokla, wow, if despite losing the Elder Drake, will try and pressure the bot lane turret, the inhibitor. Whoa, look at that, taken out really quickly by Ascension. The Baron will be up for grabs. The death timer is still pretty huge for Ryoma in a way that he can't join in, but Juves will be joining in shortly.
Man, Renrin though, I don't think they even need Renrin because with this Elder Drake, the doubled amplification on these buffs, that's gonna be so fast.
Ooh, wow, already half health down. Whoa!
That was
5 seconds flat, they take down the Baron.
That was crazy. Again, Ascension Gaming, that was a fantastic move there in that dragon. I hope we get to check out that replay because that was absolutely insane. I love the proactivity from G4 there. That Valkyrie, I felt like Sin Gaming almost got baited into thinking that was a distraction for them, that maybe they were probably thinking that they could have gotten G4. They might have thought that was a careless Valkyrie, but that was all they needed because with that distraction right there, Juice was ultimately caught out when he was going for the steal, and eventually that was a huge topple that Ascension capitalized on afterwards. So again, it doesn't really show that much. Look at the goal difference, 17 to 13 for G4 versus Ryoma here. That's how much of a threat G4 is right now. That the threat of FBI, sure, FBI is a threat in himself, but G4 is a much larger threat right now.
But also the gold lead is now in the favor of Ascension with a monumental lead so far, nearly 5,000. So let's see how Sin Gaming will fight back. This time, Lloyd's powered up. Baron buff and the aspect of the dragon, but the Elder Drake buff will run up pretty soon. Let's see how they will capitalize its potential.
And man, Lloyd, I love the pickup of the Guardian Angel.
Look at that
here.
turret. Easy takedown by Ascension. A lockup though onto FBI. Ascension got interested, but they could not commit. So let's see. They still have the aspect and the Baron. The mid lane, the inhibitor is taken down. Rogues is there, but Dokla, the amount of trust that Sin Gaming is putting onto Dokla to push that bot lane is very rewarding. So
I don't think it's as effective though, because again, luckily for Ascension Gaming here, because of this Baron buff, it pretty much cancels out that split push potential that Dokla has to potentially force Ascension Gaming back into the defensive to take, because clearly Ascension Gaming with much more confidence right now because of that Baron, really going for these more offensive plays, but still, I mean, they were able to take down a mid inhibitor. That's definitely room for them to work with, but again, I'm wondering if they could make much more out of this Baron take the second time around.
Look at the timer right now, nearly 40 minutes into the game. Kill score is almost 10 to 5. Gold lead is in favor of Ascension. They have 4 Drakes and they secured 2 Barons in this game. Let's see if they will continue to lead, and they don't need that much minion wave, seeing that they have 2 Mountain Drakes.
Yeah, and look at Renrin allowing himself to take the first initial shots coming from that turret there. But regardless, you know, it's pretty nifty.
Very methodical of Ascension Gaming.
Definitely.
They're going for almost of a very safe plan in a way that's 100 to 0. Kind of the same style that Sin Gaming did. So when it comes to time, I think it would be an equal footing so far for both teams.
I love that they don't really give much of a care of as to Dokla being a, you know, trying to play a mind game to just think that the Ascension Gaming will need to respond because of that empowered recalled Baron buff. Even though Dokla might be going for a hard push, it'll be very much easy for the rest of the members of Ascension Gaming, whoever they decide to put back for the response onto Dokla's aggression. They're usually Renrin, but man, we'll just have to see. Again, Ascension Gaming has all the tools to potentially close out this game. Whether or not they'll be able to do so within the next few minutes, that's actually something I'm interested in seeing.
When it comes to closing the game, leave it to Ascension. They have all the tools, all the resources to do so, but they don't have that one missing piece that needs to be there for them to. It's the fact that they need this really powerful wave clear, which is Lloyd, but they're still scared. They're not willing to risk anything yet because one small mistake will cost them the game, and that's understandable. But at this point of the game where it's almost at a stalemate, someone needs to risk it. Someone needs to start a clash in a way that it will tip it to either to Ascension or to Sin Gaming. So it's up to these teams to who will make the reckless move, but I don't think any of them will be budging.
Yeah, definitely. And at the end of the day, it's just so tricky right now. Again, Sin Gaming, it's mostly Dokla that's been trying to make a proactive for Ascension Gaming to bite, but Sin Gaming, clearly with the position that they're in right now, they don't really need to bite as much to that split in comparison to earlier during their first Baron take. So at the end of the day, that's going to be an inhibitor spawning though, so that's definitely pressure relieved for Sin Gaming.
So the inhibitor will respawn, less pressure for Ascension. So this would be Sin Gaming's opportunity to come back. G4 seeing this immediately takes down the inhibitor.
Look at that.
They want that control. The stun of Ryoma was pretty close though.
Man, this double configuration of Lloyd and G4 on this Corki and the Sivir at the same time, plus the manifestation of these dragon buffs in the late game. Like we mentioned, this is a pretty big deal. These 4 buffs, these 4 dragon buffs manifesting into late game.
This time Ascension, they're tired of Dokla wanting to destroy him. Dokla just praying, they don't see him but they get spotted. There is a flash and stun. G4 for the assist and the exhaust on the Dokla. Flash in from G4 will proc the Guardian Angel, but at this moment members of Sin Gaming will be pushing the mid lane turret.
Enough is enough, Dokla. We've had enough of your split pushes. Enough of the mind games. That was just absolute baloney at that point. Let's take him down and just try to finish it once and for all.
They're pretty much tired of Dokla really hindering their power in pushing. So we did see that Sin Gaming, they made some room in the mid lane, but not significant enough. The inhibitor is down for them, so they could not push faster.
Yeah, 11-5 right now, but even though it's not much of a difference.
Oh, and Dokla has a really huge death timer.
Man, there we go. Good configuration though by FEI to try to halt Ascension Gaming. I'm not sure if it'll be as effective though.
There is a choke point. Oh, teleport in on the hunt. Warlock closing in on the FBI. FEI backs away. The turret gets taken down. Ascension. Ooh, with a 3-man stun from Ryoma. No follow-up yet. There is the redemption for the heal. FBI is still there. Dokla will be responding in 6 seconds. Stun misses again. G4 goes in for the side, trying to knock down FBI. He's down to 5 half health. Flash and pulverize combo onto FBI. FBI flashes away. 2 members locked down by Ryoma. Here comes Dokla from the fountain. Warlock is there for the assist, but that would be Renrin backing away. He does see Dokla, and now FBI is still alive. He gets the double kill. It would be a cleanup for Sin Gaming.
Man, those are 4 members of Sin Gaming still alive right now. And at the end of the day, I don't know, this definitely leaves a lot more options to Sin Gaming, and it's very telling of how much Ascension Gaming still has a few worries here. And I don't know, Sin Gaming actually going for the defensive here. If they could go for the finish though, because those are heavy death timers.
Very heavy. I mean, 43 seconds. It's a huge.
But yeah, let's go ahead and check out what transpired here. So Warlock actually going for the active move to initiate onto FBI right there. The problem is though, because of how prolonged this fight eventually went on, the carries for Sin Gaming were just really doing their work here. That sure, G4 is definitely much of a threat, but compare that to a Syndra with all the burst potential in the world as a mage, plus the fact that FBI in himself, you know, he wasn't technically behind, so this was just a topple on at this point because there wasn't as much of a solid follow-up after Warlock's initiate. So man, that was definitely probably a misplay there from Ascension by not being able to take down the carries right away.
And from that mistake, this grants Sin Gaming the Baron, the 3rd Baron of the game, goes to them. So more power for them. It'll be very difficult to lock down FBI. He does have the QSS active, which will deny a lot of CC coming in for him. So this will be more pressure for Ascension. The game timer is now 45 minutes. Exhaustion might stick into these players. It's a very long game, and a lot of mind games were being played.
Man, indeed. At the end of the day, this is just going to be very equal playing field. Ascension Gaming, they really want to play these fights a little bit more cleaner, because if they couldn't take down Ryoma or at least FBI within, like, let's say 2 to 3 seconds after, well, like probably 4 at most within an initiate, then that's where Sin Gaming starts going for the retaliation right off the bat, because a lot of resources are exhausted by doing so. Warlock can only do 1 combo and misses out on goes into cooldown for a few seconds, and that window of opportunity, losing out on that much power of disruption coming from the Alistar really makes a difference for Ascension Gaming. So again, despite being 2 inhibitors down, you can't really say that Ascension Gaming could breathe a sigh of relief just yet, because there's still so much that Sin Gaming has in their kit to still turn things around.
Oh, battle for the Elder Drake. Three members there. G4 gets trapped by the trap, but Dokla with the Baron Ball pushing in. Jubes goes in for distraction. G4 goes immediately back to the Elder. Let's see, it will be the Elder Drake onto Ascension's side. We see Jubes backing away. The box is in place for the slows, and Renwin gets blocked by the box. Lord goes in for the flash to at least dual FBI. Flay to deny G4's approach. FBI is just free hitting G4. It will be a trade-off of the ADCs. Lloyd comes on top. He takes down the support. The flash, but Lloyd is left alone. Dokla is very low. Lloyd comes out on top. That would be a trouble for Lloyd. And now with only Ryoma left and Lloyd, this will be a one-on-one. Let's see.
Man, Lloyd knows that he doesn't want to get personed down by Real Madrid. Well, actually, decides to go back instead, but that's gonna be
never under. Right now at this point, that Severe is very powerful in a way that FBI is not gonna be enough. He won't have enough attack speed to duel it because of the passive from the ultimate of the on the Hung of the Severe. So 4-4 trade with only the mid laner and the ADC alive. What a close game. 47 minutes into the game. Exhaustion for these players. Mentally is sinking in. They cannot afford to make careless mistakes anymore.
Yeah, man, but still, that was very scary for Ascension Gaming. Let's go ahead and check out what transpired right there. The successful Elder Drake take go from Ascension Gaming. So technically, they had an advantage there because they had the extended application of the Drake's buff because of that Elder. But regardless, even though things happened that way, with all said and done, Sin Gaming still put up a great fight here. So we actually have the rest of Sin Gaming, Ryoma, as well as Lloyd, just really dealing the optimal damage that they can. But at the same time, it's just eventually a point wherein both sides trying to take down each other as fast as they can, but then these two Garys, both Ryoma and Lloyd, manifesting in themselves as just generally dealing as much, but not able to result to that solid ace, which could have actually dictated the flow of the game. That ace would have actually been much more beneficial to Ascension because that would have allowed Lloyd a free push towards bot side.
And possibly to end the game from that because he has two Mountain Drakes and the aspect of the Dragon buff. That's going to be a third stack for him because it's 50% extra of what you have. So this is going to be that was going to be a very deciding factor, but it didn't happen. So this will be another painstaking reset for both teams. 48 minutes into the game, this will be nearing almost 50 minutes. I cannot imagine the exhaustion that these players are facing because when a game gets extended for 50 minutes, whatever lead you have means nothing because everyone right now is on equal footing in itemization. Look, everyone is locked into their items.
Yeah, and this is actually very scary for Ascension Gaming at this point. The fact of the matter was, during that 5v5, let's look at the factors here. For Sin Gaming, Dokla in himself was already late for that fight because he teleported in. And Ascension Gaming themselves, they had the Elder Drake. Technically, they already had the buffs to amplify their damage as is. Imagine now, let's say in a 5v5 without that Elder Drake, I fear for Ascension Gaming at this point because they already fought an equal fight with those buffs. Lose out on those buffs, it's actually very terrifying to think just how much power Sin Gaming has to topple over Ascension Gaming in these full-ons.
There's full-ons 5v5, but in the end, only one will come out on top. That was the risk I was talking about. One team will have to try and initiate and take the risk. And if that risk is very rewarding, this will grant them a victory for their region. So right now, pitting against the third seed from OPL and second seed from GPL, with OPL having 1 point.
Man, this is going to be very interesting right now. You know, Sin Gaming, actually, we're finally seeing them more on the offensive as opposed to like the last 40 minutes of this game where it's been mostly Ascension and Sin Gaming matching the defensive stance. But now they're definitely going for these extra realizing that they definitely have that firepower to go full on against Ascension if ever things do break out into these 5v5. So it's interesting. Ascension Gaming actually finding themselves in an awkward position, actually now in a defensive, now that we're transitioning into this late game where everybody has their items now.
Yeah, the inhibitor did respond for all of Sin Gaming, so I'm pretty scared for Ascension. They have to make the same risk they did in the Elder, which was very rewarding, but I can't say the Guardian Angel cooldowns should be up, so let's see.
And this is going to be very scary for Ascension right now. Actually, it's only Rogue who's nearing the completion of his last item. So we'll just have to see. Because hasn't actually completed his relic yet. So, but regardless, this is something that's...
Ooh.
Oh,
On the
no,
hunt,
though.
G4 with his package goes in onto FBI, immediately chunks half of his health down. Here comes Renmin from the sides, but Dokla aiming to push that turret. Oh boy, Ascension can't choke at this point right now. They have to decide, risk it for the Baron? We'll take it. They take down the Baron in time, but will they get away? Stun onto Warlock, he does break it away with the Unbreakable Will. G4 will be making his recall with the Empower, leaving behind Warlock, Renren, and Warlock going at the side. See, that's Sin Gaming. They're not going to let them back away without a fight. Warlock is left behind, and this gives Nooney a time to recall, which only one member of Ascension got taken down, which was very worth it for them because at this point, the Baron is theirs. They can afford to lose that much.
Yeah, luckily they didn't really... Ascension Gaming didn't really suffer as many casualties. So that Baron was definitely worth in the trade-off for that inhibitor. But ooh, that was a misclick right there. Mispress right there for the Zhonya's.
The nerves getting to them.
Yeah, but that's very crucial right there. Losing out on the Zhonya's, if ever a fight were to happen and that Zhonya's, losing out on the Zhonya's would make or break it, then Nooney probably would be a very heartbreaking situation for him. But looks like with how things are mapping out thus far within these next few seconds, I don't think that'll really deter him that much because that Zhonya's is already a fourth of its way back to recovery.
Look at the goal, 100k right now at this 53-minute game so far for the GPL second seed and the OPL's third seed.
I think this is the longest game we've had.
Yeah, I've seen this. This is the longest game we've seen in Rift Rivals, but it's all about their pride on the line. They can't afford to lose again to the third seed of OPL. This is what Ascension is telling them. We have our pride as being the second seed of our region. We're not going to lose to you guys, and this is the resilience they're putting out. But for Sin Gaming, they're saying that despite us being the third seed, does not mean that we're going to be backing it out. And just goes to show, this is the third seed from OPL. The skill level is on par with the second seed of GPL.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy now that you think about it. And it's just anybody's game right now. And Ascension Gaming, I gotta hand it to them. They've really been working hard at getting all these buffs in the world. All the Barons went to them, but still having a hard time to close out this game. It's very telling as to just how powerful a game is, how powerful a team's in gaming.
On the hunt, Dokula is up position again. He does have the Guardian Angel, parries a lot of CC. Renren gets taken out in exchange for Dokula. He does have the Guardian Angel. Members of Sin Gaming pushing the mid lane, inhibitor turret. Oh, the turret gets taken out. G4 takes the kill onto Dokula. But Sin Gaming still pushing the inhibitor. That would be a trade-off for one champion on their side for inhibitor and inhibitor turret.
Fantastic configurations being played out by Sin Gaming across the map. And as a result, this is a different Ascension Gaming that we've been seeing over the first 30 to 40 minutes of this game. Everybody from Ascension just kind of forced into these defensive stance that it's Sin Gaming. Dokla really doing a great job here, but oh no, we might have a fight.
Oh no, Nooney gets instantly bursted out. Juice is there with the unleashed power. Yoma's still alive. Rock'n'Roll goes in for the flash and Bulverized combo. FBI still alive. It would be the mistake Ascension Gaming made. 4 members down. Warlock is the last man standing. That would be the ace for Sin Gaming.
Man, this is gonna be it. Sin Gaming finally finds the fight. Dokla with the plays, with the splits, finally manifesting. And this, ladies and gentlemen, will be the Oceanic League.
Whoa, the pride of OPL third seed taking down the second seed of GPL. You can see the relief from the players. This is game set with Sin Gaming still have yet to be undefeated, carrying the flag of OPL.
Oh man, you could see how excited. They can't believe it. The third seed of the OPL, you know,
Look at them. They're so happy. They deserve it. This is actually more bragging rights for them because they have conquered the second seed of GPL, an achievement for the OPL region. So, congratulations to OPL for winning against Ascension Gaming. You guys deserve it from that really long, painstaking game, 56 minutes.
I gotta hand it. That was all Sin Gaming needed. Even though Ascension was on the offensive, the fact that they weren't able to close out the game really allowed Sin Gaming to steal all into the late game. That once everything was even, just the overall composition that Sin Gaming with that advantage, plus the configurations that they've been making with Doppler, I gotta hand it to them. The macro, absolutely amazing. Ascension Gaming, unfortunately, from Ascension to the Dissension right there.
So guys, there you have it. That has been the second game of the semi-finals. This time, Sin Gaming still remaining in the King of the Hill format. This time, Ascension Gaming will be switched out to the first seed of GPL. The Gigabyte Marines will be facing off against the third seed of OPL, Sin Gaming. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be having a short break coming back for Game 3. We have been the Shoutcasters. I'm Vulcan, and with me is Arctic. See you after the break.